Hey everybody, and welcome to the Finnegan Farm Homestead. Happy New Year to everybody. It is January 2nd, and with the new year comes new Farmer's Almanacs. So I just want to take a few minutes, walk through a couple of my favorite almanacs that I use. There's a bazillion of them out there. It just depends on where you live and what's local to you, but just wanted to show you two or three of the ones that I use most often here at the Finnegan Farm Homestead. So the Old Faithful is the Old Farmer's Almanac, obviously. This one is the 2024 edition. Here's the table of contents. You'll note there's a whole bunch of different gardening articles that are in here, as well as weather forecasts. But the important pages are the calendar pages. So here is January. It talks about a bunch of different things. So this is, sunrise, sunset times. And again, you have to kind of link it up to your area of the country to know whether you need to add or subtract time from these. These are all given in Eastern Standard Time. But then you have the calendar page on the other side, and it goes day by day, and it gives you some information, facts and different things all the way through. Also tells you, tells you a little bit about the moon phases and things like that. And there's always a small article on the side that has to do with the month that you're in. So this is, again, this is the standard, right? The Old Farmer's Almanac. Lots of information in here, and of course they do their weather forecasts. Then there's a little bit of information about the secrets of the zodiac, as it says here. Tells you gardening by the moon signs. Just a brief explanation: when to plant, transplant, and graft. So it shows Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and Taurus are good times for that. Harvest in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Gemini, Aquarius. Tells you when to build or fix fences or garden beds, when to control insects, and even when to prune. And there's a whole little article on setting eggs by the moon signs. And then here are their best days charts. So if you want to know the best days to make jams or jellies, for instance, January 14th and 15th are the best. February 10th and 11th. Let's see what it says about gardening, if it does. Here's when you mow to promote growth. Here's when you mow to slow growth. Oh, here's your best days for planting above ground crops. So in January, it's 14th, 15th, 23rd, and 24th. Below ground crops, which typically is the dark of the moon, of course. January 5th and 7th, 2nd, 3rd, and 29th of February. So anyway, it's like I said, it is the standard, has been for years and years and years, right? This is number 232, first founded by Robert B. Thomas in 1792. Let's take a look at another one. Okay, this one is the Harris's Farmer's Almanac, and this one actually is the one I use more often than not. Like I said, I'll go back to the Old Farmer's Almanac from time to time, but I kind of really like this Harris's Farmer's Almanac, and I'll show you why. To flip through table of contents just like I had before, but what's interesting to me are the calendar pages. So here are, here's the calendar pages for January. This is January again. This is the 2024 edition. So right on the calendar page shows you the moon signs, gives you some information. It's very similar to what you see in the Old Farmer's Almanac. But what I really like is this page over here, because this will not only give you the moon phases, but it gives you the dates very clearly here. When you want to plant your above ground crops, when you want to plant your root crops. They've been tending to hydroponics, if that's, if you should grow through hydroponics. Controlling pests, when to transplant, which is great. I use that for, when we start the seeds and then when we transplant it either into bigger pots or even out to the garden itself. And there's some information, there's more about January, but then they have January garden tips, what you need to be doing. And they do that for each month, right? So if I'm going to be starting tomatoes, let's say, you're supposed to start 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost date, which puts me into March. This is going to tell me when the best time to plant above ground crops are. So I'm probably going to start my tomatoes the 9th, 10th, 13th, 14th, 18th, 19th, one of those days, and whichever ones actually work out to match this year. But I do like this one a lot. It seems to have a little more of the gardening stuff. There's an article on why grow heirloom tomatoes. Here's an article on how to maximize your garden space. Green solutions for garden problems instead of using toxic chemicals. So I tend to use this one more than I have the Old Farmer's Almanac, although I usually get a copy of that every year just to reference if I need to, but this one tends to be the one that I go after most often. So let me show you one more version of an almanac. This one is the brownie calendar. So this is a calendar that you hang up on your wall or wherever. Typically it is some sort of an advertising calendar. In this case, this one came from Red Hill General Store. I don't know that we have anybody around local that actually does a brownie calendar anymore. So I typically get mine from this Red Hill General Store, but it goes all the way through the year, right? Starting with January. And similar information on each day of the month. Sunrise, sunset. This one shows moonrise at 10:22 tonight. I would assume these are all Eastern Standard Time as well. Probably should look that up. But then it tells you what phase the moon's in for every day, right? So New Year's Day it was in Virgo. Switches for 3 days. Scorpio goes all the way through. This one talks a little bit about the seasons, when spring starts, when summer starts, when autumn starts, and when winter starts. Shows the morning stars, when they're visible. And then, of course, there's the weather chart. All the almanacs do like to do their weather predictions, but this one's kind of a neat one too. Good, here's February. 2024 being a leap year. So there's 29 days in February. Again, weather at the bottom. I think, trying to see. Sorry about that. The little brownie jesters show different weather forecasts, right? As they pop up on the different days. Fishing predictions, so good days when to fish, when not to fish. If the fish is pointed to the right, that's the morning fishing guide. If it's pointed to the left, that's the evening fishing guide. So this would say, today being 2nd of January, best fishing is in the morning, and it is rated as good. So anyway, I do a little bit of fishing myself, so those show up in these almanacs and calendars as well. But if anybody local to you has a Brownie calendar or some version of it, that's kind of a neat piece to have as well. Any rate, Happy New Year. Good planning to everybody in 2024.